Here's White versus the Sicilian, lesson 8.4. So we backed up a little bit to White's 16th move here of h3, and Black is going to play knight b6, followed by knight takes b6, queen takes b6. White has no choice but to make this capture, as his bishop was attacked three ways. Nevertheless, as we shall see, the change in pawn structure isn't all good news for Black. Bishop takes e6, f takes e6. So there's no longer a hole on d5, and the black rook has gained the open f-file. On the other hand, the backward pawn remains on d6, and the e6 pawn will also prove vulnerable. Rook e2. Is that right? Yeah, rook e2. Rook c6, queen d3, queen c7, rook d1, knight c4, b3, knight b6, c4, and then prevents any bid for freedom with d6, d5. Knight c8, rook e d2, h6, queen e2, king h7, h4. A fine preventative move. Annan puts a pawn on h5 before Black has the chance to maneuver his king via e7 and g6 to f4, when things would suddenly get grisly for the white king. Queen b6, h5, queen c5, knight e1. Having obstructed the black knight, Annan now utilizes his horse to help smash up the enemy center. Rook c7. Now Black can't stop White's breakthrough on c5. Now, for example, if Black had played b6, then knight d3, queen a3, queen g4, rook f6, c5, b takes c5, knight takes e5, d takes e5, and rook d7. And there's no good way to stop mate. Now you might think here also, what if rook c7? Well, then knight c4, queen b4, knight takes d6. So here we'll back up, and Black plays rook c7. So now knight d3, queen c6, c5. A decisive breach in the black center. Knight e7, queen g4, rook f6, b4, providing the knight with a square on c5, so that White's next move of c takes d6, queen takes d6, and then knight c5, followed by infiltrating with the rooks down the d-file. All of that is looming. Lecco elects to give up a pawn in a bid for counterplay, but it all falls apart. d5. Knight takes e5, queen a4, queen g3, rook c8, knight g4, rook f7, queen d6. Now the threat of knight e5 driving the black rook from the defense of e7 forces the creation of a passed pawn. Rook c f8. Queen takes e6. Queen takes b4. E takes d5. Queen takes c5. d6. And despite Leko's stubborn defense, the pawn will prove unstoppable. Knight c6. d7. Knight d8. Queen e4 check. Queen f5. Rook e2. Queen takes e4. Rook takes e4. b5. f3. a5. Knight e5. Rook f6. Knight g6. Rook g8. Rook e8. Rook f7. Rook d5. b4. And knight e7. So now, and white and black resigns. Now a possible finish to this could have been knight e7, rook g f8, rook e5, a4, knight g6, rook g8, rook takes g8, king takes g8, rook e8 check, king h7, rook h8 checkmate.